Hi, I'm Dan from Perion Network, and I'm happy to welcome you to an episode of AdTechTalks by Perion. This is a series of conversations with AdTech experts about the happenings in our industry. I'm thrilled to be joined here by Todd Cohen. How are you, Todd?
I'm doing great, Dan.
Great. Happy to have you. Todd is Vice President of National Video and CTV Strategy and Sales at Undertone, a Perion company. Todd has 19 plus years of experience in media, including the past 9 years in the CTV and advanced TV space. His career has included both digital and TV, broadcast and cable, national and local, video and audio, data and measurement. And I'm ready and excited to dive in with the expert himself. This is very impressive. And you know your way on TV, CTV advertising. This is where you swim.
This is the most exciting time and the most exciting place in all of media. I'm excited, Dan.
So before we start, I just want to, I love starting with the numbers, with the money talks. So 2022, we expect total TV spending, TV including everything, $88 million, $88 billion, while $21 billion would be in CTV this year. This is a very big and impressive number. Where's it heading?
Yeah, it's going to continue to grow. CTV is a freight train, and it's going to continue growing. eMarketer says it's going to be $37 billion by 2025, and that's going to keep going from there.
So, Todd, let's start with understanding what is CTV. Please explain.
Yeah, CTV is TV devices that are connected to the internet. It's a subset of OTT, over the top, which is really the delivery mechanism. So CTV is always referring to it running on the television. So apps that can access content through the internet.
Examples.
So if you watch Hulu and it runs on the television, that's CTV. When you watch Hulu, the very same content, and watch it on a laptop, that's part of OTT. And running it on television is also part of OTT. The television portion of that OTT buy is CTV.
In this world of consuming content on the TV in the living room, there are a few models, with ads and without ads. Can you please explain a bit?
So there's SVOD and AVOD. SVOD, subscription video on demand. This refers to when there's a paying subscription. So you can't get access to it without paying your fee, and therefore you can watch it on. Netflix is a good example.
Without ads.
Without ads.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's something in between, a lighter ad load with it. But AVOD has ads, and that makes it either free or a lighter ad load on that. That makes it less expensive. Netflix is getting into this space where they'll offer it in. Disney, Peacock, all of them started as an offering that's SVOD and have now since added an ad-supported tier. And there's been lots of studies that have shown, and people's actual pocketbooks have shown, people want to see ads in order to save money. Put that another way, they prefer to have it for free or to pay less, and they're happy about that value exchange. See advertising, pay less subscription.
So it's interesting. I mean, it feels like we all went in a circle. I mean, for a few years we had a feeling that ads on TVs are going away because we had like few services that were SVODs, no ads. And it felt that probably, the future is like TV content without ads, and now it's coming back.
Yeah, there's only so many services you could subscribe to. Everyone has talked for a long time in the United States of, wow, my cable bill is so expensive. If only I could just pay for the stuff I want. So those options emerged with SVOD options. Great, you just want Netflix. But then suddenly it was, well, now I have to also subscribe to Disney and to HBO Max. And now there was lots of things. You can't subscribe to everything. Suddenly you're paying more than what your cable bill was. At a certain point, you need to still access more content, but you don't want to pay for it. And that's where these ad-supported, I want things free. That's all I have to do is watch an ad and I could get it for free. And that's where you saw the rise of players like Pluto and Tubi and all of these other players that enabled you to watch content for free without having to pay, and then channels will be more specific that way, just like cable created.
So in a way, charging us for watching content through ads is the fairest way. because you pay with your watching the ads for what you actually watch, rather than just subscribe to a library of content that you might not watch all of it.
I think we're in the golden age of content, and now finally consumers have their choice. There's some consumers that prefer to pay and then go ad free, and that's valuable. There's some consumers that love this value exchange of not having to pay, but see some ads and then they can have it absolutely for free. Wow, that's incredible. It's almost as if that's a new innovation, even though that's where they came from.
Yeah.
And now there's also this in-between option of, okay, well, what if I paid and I saw less ads, a little bit of ads? If I watched ads as part of this, and then I don't have to pay as much. And suddenly that's an interesting opportunity for them. And you've seen multiple tiers. Peacock launched that. That's what Netflix is going to be doing when they launch later this year.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that Netflix got to the point that they understood that they need to add a layer with ads is a strong evidence that that's the direction, and the market, that's the direction now. I mean, there's no other way.
Every single consumer has a different has different needs, and now different consumers' needs are being served in new ways. And that's a little bit like how it was when cable first exploded onto the scene back in the early 80s. The idea of paying for content, well, that's not something I want to do. I used to get content for free, but the content got better. Mm-hmm. And for some people, that was a great exchange. I could pay, and now it'll be way more specific. And that creates fragmentation for advertisers, which we're going to get to. But for the viewer, now you can get very specific because it no longer has to be a one-size-fits-all for everyone. And now there's options that fit everyone's needs.
We saw the numbers. Money's flowing to CTV. Yeah. Why? Why is it happening?
Yeah, so you see CTV as an improvement from both sides. There's demand from both ends. On the digital end, it's really clear to understand, and there's lots of reasons, but it really starts with targetability, the ability to really zero in on your audience, just like you do in other digital platforms. Now you have a new screen. It's also more measurable, and there's other benefits beyond that. Beyond that, it just works. But it's also on the TV side, the linear traditional television side. As you mentioned in your numbers, it's not just that CTV revenue is going up, it's that TV advertisers are shifting budgets from linear television. And it always makes everyone pay attention when someone is shifting dollars. They're changing what's most valuable to them. And there's a reason they're doing it. They can't reach everyone. Their focus is on unique reach, and they have a fragmentation challenge. It's not the first time in history that advertisers have had a fragmentation challenge, but it is a major paradigm shift as we're seeing. So as an example, if you want to reach everyone, you used to be able to reach everyone with a few ads on broadcast and you'd get to everyone. And then cable came along, explosion of content, couldn't reach everyone. Suddenly that's a challenge, but it's an opportunity because they could buy it more efficiently by buying lots of cable networks. But now fragmentation has gone to this next step, which is all over CTV.
So let's talk about cord cutting.
People are constantly cutting the cord. This year, for the first time, nearly half of America are completely unreachable through a cable connection. If you want to reach viewers through cable, almost half of the United States is completely unreachable no matter how much you spend.
I want to be a bit more specific here. What's the advantage for brands to advertise on CTV rather than linear TV? Because it's the same screen.
The benefit and the reason why the advertisers are going that direction is there's viewers that they can't reach. So they still have the same content that they love. It's running, or similar content that they love, the same partners that they already work with. And they're saying, all right, great, we can still reach these viewers. It's okay. Don't worry about our inability to, or our shrinking audience. We can still reach them on CTV. Therefore, they can still get to the same level of reach that they had to.
Okay, so where do we come in when it comes to advertising on CTV?
Yeah, advertisers have a challenge. We just talked about the fragmentation challenge. And once they actually reach them, how do you get it to break through? How do you get someone to notice your message? People are so distracted. And this is not a new challenge, but there are new solutions. Taking a look at that challenge in linear, it was commercial avoidance. People got up to go to the bathroom, but then there was TiVo and DVRs in every household. Now it's CTV. It's non-skippable. Mm-hmm. People are already going to notice your ad more, but now everyone has CTV. If CTV is all you know and that's what you do all the time, the commercial seems like a really interesting time to pick up your phone, and the iPhone has so many interesting things on it. So how can we get someone to notice your ad? That's
how?
the challenge, and that's where we help.
Yeah, so please explain.
So Undertone has created high-impact CTV. We've created different elements in order to get people to notice your ad. And that's the first part that's crucially important. No matter how much you spend, if someone doesn't notice your ad, they've missed it. It doesn't matter what you said. You hired a creative agency, you paid a lot of money for the ads, but if that doesn't break through, no one noticed it, it had no impact.
I also saw that some of your formats are that the show is running and then shrinks to a smaller screen. It's a bit difficult to describe it like that, but I mean, it shrinks to a smaller screen and the ads surround the show that keeps on running.
Yeah, so another way that we help is when you think about how do you help an advertiser break through, how do you help them get the viewer's attention during the ad break? One way is to never be in the ad break.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done. Never in the ad break at all. So if I'm watching an American football game and someone scores a touchdown, they typically show a replay and a second replay. They're going to show every single angle. And I, as a diehard football fan, like many other,
you want to watch?
I'm going to watch every single angle. If you show me 5, I'm ready for the 6th. But during that, I probably don't need to hear the color commentator, however good they are at describing this. At a certain point, you could probably mute them and then get in a commercial right alongside it. I, as the viewer, have my eyeballs on screen. I love this. This is extra content, and therefore I'm going to notice the advertiser. That's a win for the advertiser. And for the content provider, they actually have more eyeballs on screen. They're not going to change the channel if they're still watching the content. It's good for everyone, a rare win-win-win. So with this offering, we have the ability to help keep your eyes on screen, get people to notice your ad, and that's the name of the game. And because it's Undertone, we undertonize the ad. That means we could add other elements. We could highlight your key call to action, your tagline. We could put a QR code on screen. We could put anything that makes sense for that particular brand. And we have an award-winning in-house creative team that does all of this. Knows the best way to take advantage of formats.
Getting viewers to notice your ad, that's a challenge?
Yeah, it certainly is. After a certain point, viewers have blindness. And you know that from your own experience. There's some ads that you've seen 35 times because the only tools that were available in linear TV was just to buy more frequency. Yeah. So you could buy more. Ideally, you just have great creative and that helps break through. But after a certain point, I've seen that because they're buying the same content that they think aligns. With audience targeting in digital, hopefully that already is better, a little bit more personalized towards who you're speaking with. But one of the things we can do is using our branded CTV, we have the ability to help that break through. Right off the bat, it looks different than every other ad on television, and that has value. In addition, advertisers often tell stories in their television. It's sight, sound, and motion on the biggest screen of the house. And sometimes the best way to do it is not just to talk about a product feature. They want to tear on your emotional heartstrings. They want to take you on a journey. And that works fantastically well and has throughout time, assuming someone notices your entire ad. If you're watching with an attention span like you watch the Super Bowl ads, that is fantastic. However, a lot of people don't watch that way. So how do you get them to remember who is it for? Everyone's had in their experience where they watch an ad and they say, "Oh, that was a great ad."
Who was it?
Who is it for?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Classic.
And that's one of the areas that we solve for by putting persistent brand messaging so it's always there to point to it, as well as the key message. 30 seconds is a long time, and sometimes that's the amount of time that you need in order to tell a story, but sometimes that's not the level of attention span. If you could add different elements to keep people involved, keep their eyes on screen. Don't let them veer. Or if their eyes are going to veer from your content, let it be to something else that's valuable for you, for them to learn.
Cookies. Is it a cookie-less environment or with cookies? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, so it's a big challenge in most of digital, but importantly, CTV is already a cookieless environment. So it's not a challenge in CTV at all because there are no cookies already.
So if there are no cookies, how do you target?
Right, so CTV is a cookieless environment, but there are device IDs, and that's layered onto a device map. So you can identify which households have the different attributes you're trying to reach. So that means if you're trying to reach someone that's in the market for a luxury automotive, you can attach that targeting in order to identify which households are most likely there. And they do. And therefore, we can zero in on that. And that's something that's a lot different than in television.
And it works?
It does. It does. Our advertisers and across the industry really are seeing great success with that exact approach. It's one of the areas that separates CTV from linear television.
Despite the fact that you do it on a household basis, it's not a person; it's a household. But
yeah, most things don't actually need to be on a personal device. It would be there would be some benefits if CTV was a personalized device like a mobile phone, but there's tons of benefits rather to it being on the biggest screen of the house in your living room and getting additional reach across others as well.
So we were talking about why money is shifting to CTV, and we were talking about targetability. Let's talk a bit about the measurability.
This is a big innovation. This is a big step because CTV launched without that capability because there are no cookies, as you just noted. So one of the things that we're now seeing and we're now doing at Undertone is being able to take, we understand who saw the ad, and then we understand who went to the website, and then being able to connect those dots. Not only showing that measurability, but now, again, because it's more of a digital offering, we could also drive people to that site. In other words, out of all of the different viewers that we can serve an ad to, we can serve an ad to the people that are most likely to then go to the website and buy that thing on the website that they're trying to sell, or do that action that they're trying to get people to do.
Got it.
In order to drive more of those and measure it and report back on it. That's not something that we can do in television in nearly the same way. Television doesn't auto-optimize. There's not algorithms that help you identify the right person. It is so far from that in linear TV, but it's now possible in CTV. Not future looking, maybe sometime in 2025. Right now, we're doing this kind of campaign.
So it's like taking all the technology and advantages that we are developing in the past 20 years maybe, and applying it on TV. It's not linear anymore, but it's the same screen.
That's right. We've known for a while that there's a lot of amazing benefits of digital. And if you could just make CTV work in similar ways in order to take advantage of that, that's a huge innovation. And we're doing it right now.
So from all the different content out there, people are still watching sports live. Is this connected to CTV as well? And also, I would like to hear from you about esports.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about how my football example, where we can actually run an ad side by side alongside the content.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to reach. And sports, of all of the different types of content, is one that people still actually watch. They lean into, and it's a great way to reach some audiences that only watch sports. And that's fantastic. We really lean into what are the types of content that someone only watches, the type of content that's really hard to reach them any other way. And that is a big challenge the younger you get. One of the things that younger people are doing besides sports, one of the only things they're doing in large numbers besides sports, is gaming.
Yeah.
They're both playing video games and, to my surprise, they're watching other people play video games. And they're doing it in large numbers.
So Twitch, I checked it out, and I'm probably too old and not in the demographics. I was pretty amazed, like the players and the number of followers. This is huge.
It is huge, and one of the challenges that's really hard from an advertising standpoint is that they're not watching traditional television. And they're also hard to reach on CTV. But if you're trying to sell deodorant, you still need to reach them. If you're trying to sell any product that skews younger, particularly young male, you still need to reach them. And where are you going to reach them? Gaming. Gaming is where you can do it. With esports, you could reach them as they watch other people play professional video games.
So you need to place ads in the games.
So that's one way, but that's really hard to do. One of the ways that we've developed is esports. That means in that very same offering, when you could watch side by side, have your ad alongside it as they're playing, we can do that for esports as well. My 12-year-old nephew's favorite thing to do in the world is to play Minecraft. And his second favorite thing to do in the world is not to play sports. It's to watch people play Minecraft.
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And that is terrifying to sports leagues right now. Because people are not growing up deciding that they want to play baseball or that they want to watch football. They want to play Minecraft. And they want to watch people play Minecraft. So it's really the same thing as watching people play sports.
Yeah.
That's what we do with sports. The entire sports industry is people watching other people play. There's very few people that are the athletes, so to speak, playing Major League
most
Baseball.
of us, just watch other people play sports. I mean, that's
I'd like to think that one day the NBA will come calling, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
So we can still watch professionals do it. And this is one of the fastest growing parts of advertising, and more importantly, viewership.
Thank you, Todd, for joining us today. It was super interesting conversation. I can keep on talking about TV, CTV for hours.
Thanks so much for having me.
And to everyone that joined us today, so thank you. And if you have any questions, thoughts, please feel free to email marketing@perion.com, and we'll get back to you soon. We will see you next time in another episode of AdTech Talks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.